Hey there, PPLM fans, it's Katie back with some more detail on what exactly we're talking about when we say that you need to prep your yard for aeration and seeding. As you can see in this first clip, Brandon, our supervisor, is hard at work getting a yard ready in terms of its mow height for aeration seeding. This is going to be your first step when you get that week out call ahead, is to make sure, if you haven't already started, to mow your lawn closer to about 2.5 to 3 inches tall instead of the usual 4 to 4.5 inches. The biggest reason for this is that it's going to give you a buffer after aeration seeding for that baby grass to grow in, since it's going to be about 3 to 4 weeks until you're able to mow the lawn again. We don't want it to get to be a jungle on you, so we cut it a little bit lower. If we provide your mowing service, we've gone ahead and started this process for you already, but if you mow yourself or have someone else do it for you, you want to have them start to mow it lower if they haven't already, and if possible, do so in increments. This is going to keep from stressing the lawn too much by taking off too much of that blade in one go, and it's going to make sure that you maximize on a thick, healthy, weed-free lawn next year. Another thing to consider when you're mowing the grass lower is that it might be a good idea to bag the clippings. We normally recommend mulching the clippings since that's good for the soil, but in this case, bagging the clippings is better than leaving chunks behind due to the amount of growth that you're taking off at once. If you have questions about why we usually recommend mulching clippings, be sure to comment below. The next prep step is going to be flagging the yard. If you don't already have landscaping flags, they're easy to get at Lowe's or Home Depot. Just make sure that you get the pink ones because it's picture perfect pink. By the day of your service, it is super important to flag any underground structures that are within 6 inches of the surface. For most homeowners, the biggest thing that this is going to be is your irrigation system. Those sprinkler heads are right at surface level and can be very, very easily damaged by the aerator. Even if they're along the perimeter of the grass, as seen here, it is important to flag them just so that we can know where they are and give them 1 to 2 feet at least of room to make sure that we don't do any accidental damage. In addition to flagging your sprinkler heads, the other important thing for your irrigation system to flag is going to be the valve boxes that are likely scattered throughout the yard. If they've been buried through a whole season of growth, they might be hidden like this one is, so do your best to try to find them and flag them appropriately with at least a couple flags on either side. If it's not flagged, we can't see it and we don't know it's there, therefore it's at risk of being hit by the aerator. An in-ground irrigation system isn't the only thing that you're going to need to flag before your aeration and seeding service. Anything like shallow satellite dish cables, electric dog fences, exposed piping or wires, anything like that that could be within 6 inches of the surface, whether it's meant to be or not, is best to be flagged. In the case of pipes or lines or cables that are running straight through, you're going to want to flag, as Brandon is doing here, with 2 flags, one on either side, going about every 4 or 5 feet in a straight line following the path of the line that we're trying to avoid. This way we'll know not to cross through with the aerator, and we'll be sure to give it a pretty wide berth in case there is anything that might be a little bit off in terms of that precise spot. Finally, you're going to want to turn your irrigation system off at least 24 hours before the service. While it's good to water leading up to it to make sure that the yard stays damp and a little bit soft, we don't want it to be muddy or completely wet before the service, at risk of doing any accidental damage to the lawn itself. Thanks for watching us explain how to prep your yard for aeration seeding. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so that you can see our next video on how to take care of your seed once it's been put down.